holding
me tight. Two arms holding me tight.
So that I never feel alone.
Touch me? Something special.
Your special one. Kind of an interesting sweater.
I feel like we were just like really struggling to read.
Literally, an optometrist could be like, "You're around like 20/40 vision."
I've got bad vision.
Yeah, like
I've got bad
literally a vision test there.
And we got a bad man here. This Ganondorf with an early little stomp there. That's ManRay, I believe, here fighting against YeehawDaniels, I believe both Portland but Oregon native. Definitely, I think, two players here that are relatively solid players. I mean, I don't know if this is actually still pools round one. I'd be pretty surprised because these are two players that I think are relatively going to be highly seeded in this pool.
I think that's just the pool's experience now. You just get people that are like you're kind of just playing so many good people. Decent tech chase attempt there. One of the things I've liked from ManRay so far is the sequence that won them the stock was calling out a double laser. If you are a player at home who's playing against Falco, and especially if you're kind of like a mid-level player, I would recommend by default assuming they're going to double laser. Not because double laser is like some terribly weak option or something. Like I think it's sort of a bit cliche that like, oh, double laser's unsafe or whatever, but it's a very common option. It's a very easy option to execute. So just start off the set going, I'm going to punish double laser, and then if they don't do it, whatever. But ManRay took that philosophy and got a stock from it.
Yeah, it's kind of the same philosophy with like a Sheik tech chase almost, of being like, okay, I'm going to expect them to tech in place, and then I'll react to everything else, right?
Absolutely.
So, makes sense. Both these players, though, I think very, very experienced players. You know, I think these are people that are kind of locals grinders, and like I said, I'm kind of surprised that this is this early in this pool because this is going to be a bloodbath.
Yeah, one of the main things I'd like to see from Yeehaw, who again, like you said, I don't think is a bad player. I think is quite capable. Really nice up air actually. Is lasers against Ganon might be one of the single best options, and one of the matchups where lasers are the most powerful. The reason for that is really good sequence so far. Lasers, in general, obviously a very strong matchup, a very strong option in any matchup, but they're particularly good against characters that just kind of have bad, slower frame data, and that's Ganon. Like, Ganon has a slow jump squat, a lot of his moves have slow startup, his dash speed is slow, and so if you're hitting him with a laser and he's in stun, he has to kind of restart his movement, and the movement is so slow in the first place. So, like, this is a matchup where you just want to be constantly lasering, pretty much.
Yeah, definitely too. Ganon being a slower character, being able to prevent some of the movement options that Ganon has, really important. I mean, when you think of Ganon's, it's like what comes to mind is actually a Zelda player, Rien, who I think is here at the tournament doing some controller stuff, is like using wavelands and just platform movement to try and get extra space for aerials. It's something that I think like Bizarro Flame really was notable for, right?
Special,
like yeah, and it is just the Ganon special. And it's so important to be able to have that movement because Ganon is so slow in general, and because of the frame data that you mentioned, right? So being able to prevent some of that stuff by shooting lasers and kind of stilting their movement, making them have to kind of readjust, things like that, is so important. And definitely not enough lasers from YeehawDaniels in that first game.
Yeah, and it's tricky because, like, to be clear, ManRay is playing around lasers as well, and ManRay is clearly a very good player. But, you know, we saw a sequence earlier, like, where ManRay went for a side B, and Yeehaw got a shine out first before the hitbox came out. That's kind of the type of thing I'm talking about, where, like, seeing the chain grab here, this is a kind of an important part of the matchup. Tech chase opportunity. Up air going to cover a lot of the platforms, some really good stuff. I like the short attempt from Yeehaw, kind of the only way you really can recover there.
ManRay, too, has been giving up the ledge. I mean, ManRay's basically been content to just kind of sit on stage and just jab anything that's not a sweet spot.
One of the other things I've noticed, and again, this is kind of like part of the Ganon matchup, is every time ManRay gets a tech chase situation, always going for a read. Yeah. This is not a character like Sheik where you can react to tech chase. ManRay is just kind of hoping for the situation. Obviously, there's going to be some kind of micro situations where, like, because of being in the corner or like on a certain platform,
crazy
not
reaction
great.
there.
But yeah, like there are going to be some reaction tech chase situations, but by and large, that is not something Ganon has at his disposal.
Also, I mean, you just get rewarded so much more, right? It's a much bigger risk usually to be able to say, okay, if I take a read here and hit a stop, or if I hit a forward air, it'll be a lot nicer.
Yeah, absolutely. And one of the things actually we've been seeing from ManRay is going for the tech roll stomp every single time.
Yeah.
Usually tech in. And actually, Yeehaw hasn't given that. See, trying to adapt there for the first time and go for a down smash. But most of the time, ManRay has been reading a roll that isn't coming. Nice read as well.
Really calm, too, just to kind of wait there. And this is what we've been saying.
Yeah.
ManRay, content to kind of just say, take the ledge if you want it, but if you're going on stage, I'm punching you in the mouth. Again, he's just such a
really good spacing. We're seeing kind of the first big kind of advantageous state for Yeehaw, getting Ganon in the corner and actually kind of leveraging that situation. I like the way that they've been playing the last for 30 seconds or so. This is a big grab though, and get the read right for the first time, and it almost leads to a stock.
Great DI to actually land on stage there. It didn't seem like that was going to be the case, but just launched himself diagonally.
Yeah, like the forward smash a lot. This last stock, Yeehaw has been playing pretty well.
Yeah, only taken I think like 32% too.
It's just so hard. This is the tricky thing. On paper, Ganon is just completely like decimated by Falco. Yeah. But like, you know, get a good read, get kind of a solid clean hit. You know, everything can kind of go like not your way. Yeah.
This was like what, three or four jabs and a grab, and that was 70-80%.
Another thing that's kind of hurting Yeehaw is off the ledge. The main strategy that they're using is either laser from the ledge or side B from the ledge. In both cases, like there's obviously counterplay, and if you're not mixing up that like ledge dash or even honestly like an aerial from ledge, a little easier to play around that. You can kind of shield through the side B, you can jab the double laser, things we've already been seeing. So if you're a Yeehaw, if you rewatch this set, I think this is winnable. Just got to be a little used to some of the kind of stuff that Ganon is doing.
Some game plan adjustments, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
I think like particularly around the ledge game, and then really being disciplined about not giving up stage position, because